Collective, welcome. I'm Nikki, your local vegan tarotist. We're gonna check in on this connection. Little checky on the Kaneki. I don't know why I said that. Maybe somebody's pretty corny here. But I'm getting the movie What Dreams May Come because this feels like don't do it. Errant thoughts here. Let's go ahead. That's gonna be in the way here. But yesterday there was, believing in the fantasy, believing in the dream, believing in the fairy tale. Again. So, and then this Van Gogh deck, I was called to use this as my clarifier. And it's the painting. It's like a whole world. So magician energy here, also death energy, scorpionic energy. So death and creation, the cycle of life. The day we step out on the planet and blinking step into the sun. That's what it says. There's more to be seen than can ever be seen. More to do than can ever be done. It's the sun, nice and bright. So something with Leo energy here, possibly. Somebody could be healing up some ancestral wounds, realizing their power, realizing that they are a magician, right? Because the Four of Wands, the magician wields a wand, and they are the elementalists. They deal with the four elements. Well, they deal with the fifth element. They're the fifth elementalist, right? Taurus, Gemini, and Virgo energy. Taurus being all about the five senses, and they open up with the Hierophant to the sixth sense, and they translate. They're the mediator, the translator, the guide. The star here, oh, you've got some healing, love. Some masculine has done a lot of work on healing to ready themselves for this union. Yeah, wish fulfillment, Nine of Cups. They did a lot of work filling their own cup, nurturing themselves, nourishing themselves. Maybe they've gone through some sort of fasting process or fitness journey. They could have, gone through some sort of sobriety, healing with the wands. They could have practiced some celibacy, right? Because we get this, they could have been forced into it through some sort of jail time, but this person looks like they're in a jailhouse robe. So it's like, okay, so maybe some people thought like, oh, you need to get out more, you're no fun anymore. It's like those commercials, you're no fun since you started smoking pot, but they walked away from all that. They walked away from judgments. They walked away, the Eight of Cups leading to the Nine of Cups. It's like they became their own healing, and I think that that's a lot of Virgo energy there, that they've done this in solitude. So a lot of people think that this masculine is perceived as one thing, but like they're actually free. They're not in a jailhouse suit with chains around their feet or anything like that. So they could have left I was gonna say a wedding. Maybe they're like a runaway groom or some runaway bride here. Scorpionic and Virgo energy. Virgin energy. Maybe somebody was raised up through some sort of, maybe they were, celibate until they got married because of their beliefs or something, or because they didn't wait. There could have been shame imposed upon that. That's specific for somebody, but this person appears like they would be, in prison, but they look content and they are fulfilling all their wishes and dreams. It's like, people are always inviting me to do things, or like, oh, aren't you? They assume that I'm lonely if I do things alone. It's like, oh, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. A lot of my life was spent, out, partying, clubbing, run around socializing, being extroverted, putting on the performance. And it's like, solitude is very nice. It's healing, and it leads you to this union, right? Taurus energy with the King of Pentacles, with the Four of Wands here. So yeah, there's that elementalist. Very solid. You found, okay, so we've got air and wands and cups in the masculine, and then we've got all pentacles in the feminine. This feminine is not going to accept any, as an empress should, is not going to accept an unhealed version of their twin anymore. So the feminine probably went through a lot of cycles of having to, of being in a relationship, completely losing themselves, and then they had to, once in solitude, they got their balance back, right? So these are all positive cards. There's balance here, King of Pentacles, someone who knows their value, their worth. This is an independent feminine energy here, taking on all the masculine duties or whatever. You know, where some people, also I get, you know, the Princess and the Frog a lot. You know, Tia, she, you know, she's a very independent person. She's doing this, and she's kind of doing it vicariously for her father, who was never able to do it because he passed away or he didn't have the means. But it's something about like maybe the father did all this work. Maybe you were raised around a father who was working a lot. And they were, or any parent, but I'm getting father here, because it's stepping into the sun, you know, and the sun is the masculine, and, you know, it's I mean, you could be a son, right? Son of a father. You son of a father. Somebody could be quite a rascal here, or maybe they've got a calic. The masculine thinks you are so beautiful to me. Can't you see? Alfalfa. That's a good, like, herb. Somebody really may have gotten into a lot of earth-based healing to get a hold of their physical health, their mental health, their balance as well, because they knew that they had to come into this feminine's energy balance. Three of Pentacles here. So maybe the feminine, you know, the masculine could have done a lot of this work alone. I feel like both of you have. But the feminine's presenting here with, like, they've got like a spiritual team, right? Because there's like a little angel here. There's a Frankenstein's kind of monster pieced together thing. It's like they've had to, I don't know if there's a word, but amalgamate. They've had to create an amalgamation of all of these tools and resources. That's what the Emperor and the Empress does. The Magician will do that. They're both magicians. They are both divine alchemists. So the Empress and the Emperor are magicians. And a lot of people associate the High Priestess with the Magician, but the High Priestess and the High Priest, or the Hierophant, are actually counterparts, masculine and feminine counterparts. And the Magician is, you know, neutral. Because it's the amalgamation. It's the combination of feminine, masculine, dark, light, earth, air, fire, water, all of that together, which is what the Emperor and the Empress are. They are just the divine feminine, divine masculine counterparts of the Magician, if that makes sense. And I think it does. But yeah, it's like you both have had to take things. The feminine, I feel, worked really hard to be hyper independent. So there is going to be a little bit of, probably, we're about to see, there could be a little bit of reluctance on the feminine side, because the feminine has been sort of doing it all by themselves. So maybe they had a strong father figure, and maybe the masculine did not, or the masculine could have lost a father figure. Somebody could have lost a parent that really influenced them. I feel like you both feel like orphans, right? It's a hard knock life for us. Oh, there's something here, and I just keep going by. The universe is like, why don't you read what we said? All right. 3, perfectly. It's funny, I'm getting perfect threes. 333 could be important here. 717. All right, that is twin flame. 717. You could be seeing that on the clock. Maybe something at 7. Well, I'm already past it, but maybe something at 7:17 was said in this video, or other ones. If you find a book that's got, over 717 pages. But you could be seeing that in any variation, right? You could be seeing like 711, you could be seeing, 777, 111. In any kind of variations, you might just be seeing a lot of 7s and 1s, or 3s. But anyway, we have the Vision Quest here, which is the the 7 of Cups. 7 of Cups. Imagine that. It says 7. But with that 8 of Cups that was coming out earlier, I feel like somebody's walked away from things. They chose themselves. And yeah, a lot of people might be talking about it, because it's the sled. It's like, this is a solitary energy. I mean, somebody could have a lot of pets. You could have 4 dogs. I wish you well if you do. And then the Ace of Pipes, which is the Ace of Wands, right? So that 4 of Wands. But a King of Pentacles is bringing this in, so it's not just, this is a magician. This masculine is you both are, but this magician, fortunately, and I'm saying that for the feminines because I feel the feminines have a history of false magicians, karmic. And so there could be a little bit of reluctance, because it's like, is this too good to be true? Is it possible? Could they be like this? And they may, again, present as a bit of an underdog, because they're sort of maybe quiet. Maybe they're kind of stoic, a wallflower. They're solitary, but they are very observant, right? More of that Virgo energy, that mutable energy, someone who analyzes before they make any moves, before they bring in this Ace of Wands. They're going to be someone who is very cautious. And this is someone who lives by loyalty. I can't really see it. They live by loyalty. They only surround themselves with loyal people. And, a lot of times that's usually just you, me, myself, and I. So this 3 of Pentacles could be, both of you are coming from, I've been doing this on my own. And, you're not necessarily out here saying, oh, I do it the right way, but you're saying, I do it the right way for me. All right, let's pull from this one. The Magician and the 2 of Cups. The Magician. I think it's going to be sort of like, I'm thinking of the movie Bronson. Someone could be quite into theatrics or performance. Someone could be a performer. But someone could be quite extroverted, like kind of razzle dazzle and all of that charm. And the feminine, if that's the masculine feminines, you might be like, oh gosh, this one again. That reminds me of Grace and Frankie. Someone could be named Grace or Frank, right? Hey, Frankie. Yeah, it's kind of like somebody could be sort of have charisma, and that could make the feminine kind of like, oh, last time I dealt with someone with charisma, they were a grandiose narcissist or something like that. But this person, there's a genuine nature behind them. They're actually quite reclusive. That reminds me of Daniel Day-Lewis. He's a Taurus. He comes out of hiding. He's out making shoes, or he's out, he's in his, and I believe his wife is a Virgo. So a lot of earth energy here, but it's very stable, it's grounded, it's quiet, it's patient, and it is nurturing. Pentacles are nurturing. You're going to feel supported. You're going to feel engaged. You might be getting engaged very quickly with the 11 of Wands here. Maybe too quickly for other people. They might be like, oh my gosh, you've been on your own so long. Don't get with the first person. I'm getting somebody like, you don't have to settle down with the first person you meet. And it's like, when you know, you know. And maybe you're just someone who is very decisive, and you just kind of rule people out very quickly. Within a few moments of speaking with someone, you can tell, like, you stopped stitching together the idea of people as prospective partners, and you started looking at the action, right? The evidence, the tangible evidence of these people, and you let them reveal themselves to you, and you've just gotten really proficient at, through years and, you know, lifetimes of doing this, because to be an emperor and empress, you know, you've been here before. Through practice, and through experience, you've learned to identify it faster and faster, right? So you might still get kind of bamboozled or be like, oh man, I really thought I saw something there. But you get onto it faster. You're not in a 10-year plus marriage with this person. You're not, you know, maybe somebody was in a long-term marriage. Maybe they had kids, maybe, or they could just have experienced the same energy of low vibrational, non-committal, disloyal, dishonest, somebody was very verbally critical, you know. And it's really nice when you spend time alone and you're like, wow, I actually like myself, and you stop giving the power to others to make that call for you and to determine your worth and your value. These are two individuals who know their value because they stopped caring what others, and they also looked at others and went, you know what, if you in all your glory thinks that I am a piece of shit, or thinks I'm an asshole or a bitch, or whatever you're getting called, I'm sure you've been called many things, labeled many things, you're like, I'm okay with that, because I don't really care what you think. And if you think it, like, it doesn't hold much water. That's my cousin Vinny. All right. Does the defense's case hold water? And Marissa Tomei, she's like, that, she doesn't say it to that, but she goes, that's a bullshit question. It's a trick question. Nobody can answer that question. What did you want to be when you were a child? Collective. What was your childhood dream? Because I am getting, like, believe in the dream again. Whatever you dreamed up, you know, as a child, that ridiculous dream that was snuffed out by parents, by society, by school, by church, whatever, whomever, wherever it was snuffed out, there is a dream in there. You know, I wanted to be an astronaut. I wanted to be up there. So there's something like, what am I getting? Elton John. Also, like, I mean, I wanted to be on Broadway. I wanted to perform, or at least thought I did. I don't, you know. But it's like, when you are true to yourself, you discover that you get everything that you ask for, and it's just in a different way, possibly. You know, maybe you wanted to be a teacher, and you're like, I want to be a teacher. But then you get into that system and you know that it's corrupt. Or you wanted to be a nurse and you go in there, or you want to be a doctor, you find out that that's corrupt and it's not fulfilling and you're not actually helping people. There's a drive in your childhood that both of you had, that this love is going to make a reality. Because we've got people who are very different but very much the same, right? Where they're just seeing eye to eye. This also feels like healing up. It feels like healing of the masculine. Like a masculine was handed these wands here, handed the torch, but see, they're all fucking bent and broken, and somebody's here like straightening them out. And it's through the threes, because we have the 3 of Pentacles, and it's like these 3 wands, these 3 brooms over here. Like, you come from a long line of, I mean, you could be, like, have old roots somewhere of paganism, witchcraft, right? These things that were labeled as evil, or labeled to be quiet about it, you know. They were not able to be fully expressed, but the magician expresses through truth. They are the throat chakra. They are the creator with Mercury. They create. They alchemize through the throat. So somebody's not being quiet anymore, because we've got the 9 of Swords and the 8 of Swords. So this is like bringing peace and order and to chaos, to what was once anxiety. Look how organized, and you know, also the letter V, right? So the letter V could be important here, because I'm getting Virgo here. Also the number 5, which is a lack. It's like somebody bringing abundance and order to what was once corrupt, what was once chaotic, what was once... Ooh, I'm getting a hiccup here, because I was gonna say wrong. So maybe you perceived it as wrong, but there's some sort of healing on the masculine side. Now that could be the feminine healing, some sort of father, right? It's something with the father that is healing here, which is bringing healing to the masculine in this connection. If the feminine is doing that masculine healing work, it instructs the masculine to do that shadow work, right? And if there's some sort of inherited illness or something like that, you might be like, oh, well, my dad had it, my mom, you know, like it's genetic or whatever. Well, genetics are just a scientific way to describe energy that is passed down, ancestral energy that is passed down, right? It's just the way that we go, that we can measure it and put nomenclature to it and identify it and whatever. But it's just talking about energy, right? It's ways that we measure energy, right? We describe the frequency of light energy as light, sound as sound. You know, we identify them through the 5 senses, because that's the only way that our feeble little minds can perceive these incredible concepts. And they're not even a concept, because a concept is still, it's a construct. And this sort of, I really love the way that this, like, Jailhouse Rock, Elvis, maybe Capricorn energy, the way that it's like they've broken free from the construct and they found their bliss. This masculine is here. No pants dance, maybe Scottish, something with the skirt, the kilt. We'll make it masculine. It's a kilt, because it's got the word kill in it. So it can't be a skirt. Maybe somebody carries around like a man bag or something like that. That's sort of like, it's not a purse. It's a man bag. It's a briefcase. Come on, you're just carrying around a purse, right? Knight of Cups. Anyway, Knight of Cups could be a masculine water sign here. Strong water placements. All right, let's see. In the Disney deck, because we're believing in fairy tales, right? A lot of green, heart chakra energy here. Somebody's favorite color could be green. Birthstone could be green. Last name could be green. Could live in Greenland. Something with green. And here we are, green with the lantern. Green light. This is also green light go, and the number 7. Could be a she's very fair featured and he's darker featured, right? So that could be the contrast if you're looking for like physical confirmations. We'll get another couple. I'll pull from each one for physical traits. I don't typically like to do those, just because those again are a construct, and the idea of a twin flame, or the truth of a twin flame, is beyond the physical construct. But it could be confirmations. These are going to be specific confirmations. We got vessels here, right, with these little baskets. 8 could be water. Could be a water sign. The number 8, infinity, is also the Magician. And Leo, strength. So we've got Leo, Virgo, Gemini, Taurus in that 8. Could be a life path number 8, right? Somebody could have olive skin. This feminine could be darker featured. They could have bangs. They could have short hair. They could have long hair. We've got both here. Well, hers is kind of in that like a low set samurai bun. It's like the folded bun. So yeah, maybe somebody does like some sort of bun, or top knot is what they call it, top knot. Again, it's like a man bun. Maybe this masculine, if maybe they're a male masculine and they wear a man bun or something, and they're like, it's a top knot. It's how samurais wear it, so it's masculine or something. I don't know. Maybe that could just be how this person is. They could just be very, very masculine, but there's something about them that's effeminate enough. It honors the feminine in a way that's like, it gives it strength, right? Which again is, maybe this feminine is sort of androgynous in appearance, or they're just very strong. They could have like a strong structure. They could be like a volleyball build or something like that. And if they are a female feminine, maybe that's something that they've struggled with through their life, or they've attracted a lot of feminine masculines, feminine counterparts that they ended up having to take on that masculine pursuing trait, taking care of everything. You know, they never felt protected by these masculines, because these masculines were actually quite weak. They were probably covert narcissists. So because they kind of snuck in unsuspectingly, they didn't appear like grandiose narcissists, right? Maybe there was a grandiose narcissistic father, so the feminine went through a series of you know, being attracted to covert narcissists. Like, you still are attracted to traits from your parents, for better or for worse, right? Because that's what you know. It's what you know, for better or for worse, until you kind of logically go through that process of saying that's not healthy for me, or I don't actually want that, I want this. And solitude is where we discover that, when we don't have all the other people's opinions and thoughts and perspectives put upon us. Somebody could, so we got pink and green, which gives me a flower. I feel like somebody's going to either smell like flowers, their name could be a flower. That also gives me the skunk. He can call me a flower if he wants to. Yeah, this masculine is like so masculine. Maybe they wear pink, like they're so masculine, but nobody's gonna tell them anything about wearing pink, because it's like they are confident and comfortable in their masculinity, that they don't need to put on any airs. And it's like Spartacus, the show Spartacus, you know, or like I haven't seen it, but it's Vikings, you know. I know that the girl that plays in that, she also plays in, maybe the name Lisa or Jennifer, LJ, that's from something, it's from a movie. They call somebody LJ, and I think it's a girl. LJ. Anyway, okay, it's gone. If you know what that is, it'll come back if it's meant to. But in Love and Other Drugs, Love and Other Drug, LD. So that could be someone's initials, or they could be a Libra or whatever. Anyway, something with Lemurians. This is like a light being, but it's a very strong light, and these other masculines have tried to come in and snuff it out because they feared it. This masculine is like, they like their feminines to be powerful, and like they are okay with that. It doesn't threaten them. This is a very confident masculine. This is not someone with a little baby ego that's like a little bitch. No, but I'm just thinking of those like warriors. It's like, these guys are such warriors, and then their ladies are like, they'll kick some ass. They're bad ladies, you know. They're good ladies, but they're bad bitches, you know. Yeah, like I don't even want to call this feminine a bitch, even playfully. Just a little bit intimidating, this feminine. like this is a feminine that won't take anything, so you have to come in very with a strong, yeah, new energy with the one here, one feather. I get an apology, right? Because the beast, he overreacts. He is a petulant child because he's just a prince that gets turned into a beast, and he's angry, and, you know, he's orphaned or whatever. And so Belle comes in with the mirror. She mirrors that shit back to him, and he has to change. He has to change. There is a physical appearance change here. Someone could be very hairy, large stature, quite beastly. And this feminine, you know, she's very independent and very strong. She's in a quite masculine energy, being the caretaker for her father, and very like active in the community or whatever. Like she's very fair and beautiful, dark featured here as well, but she's got like a masculine strength to her. She goes after her father. She's here for the rescue as well. So she's not, you know, like Rapunzel or Sleeping Beauty or Snow White, where they're just like waiting around to be rescued. This is a feminine who like will rescue them damn self. So you have to be that much more masculine. And it's not a competition, but it's just this masculine really likes it. Look how he's looking. Like, oh, there she goes again, putting someone in their place or standing her ground. This feminine. Yeah, and I'm only getting the male-female dynamic here because I feel like somebody was told, you know, judged and told about their outward appearance, that they could not, should not, would not be whatever they actually wanted to be, and them coming around, because we have the 1, the 4, and the 10. So an ending. There's Tia as well. Almost there. It's the 10 of vessels, so that would be the 10 of cups. And the frog here, and he's kind of a petulant child prince who is orphaned. I mean, that's a common theme. Those are common themes in Disney movies, but they're also common themes in life, right? So let's be real here. That's why so many people related to them. Ariel. I was going to say Aries. So Aries with the 4 there is the elementalist. Would be the Emperor. The Emperor's New Groove, because with the 1 here and the shells, maybe somebody's name is Michelle. The shell, really? Why are we being ugly? We have a leaf, a rose, a shell, and a lotus flower. So that's like beaches. Bette Midler. The rose. Some say love, it is a hunger. Florence and the Machine, we all have a hunger. And I was listening to I say love, it is a flower, and you, it's every seed. Is that the, I don't even know the lyrics now. But if the music was on, I would know every single lyric, of course. I say love. Somebody's a little bit dramatic here, but it's in a fun way. It's in a playful way. It's to kind of get someone out of their shell. They're the ones who like make people feel very comfortable, and not to manipulate them, so that people around them, it's like they are a space holder, and they take it up a notch here so that everybody feels like they can come a little bit out of their shell, because this person will always be the most, I don't want to say obnoxious, because they're not obnoxious. I don't think anybody's like, ugh. This person's just big energy, and it allows everybody else to kind of feel safe enough to be more playful, or kind of, you know, be more childlike, jovial, have a good time. Something with music here, right? Because Sebastian, maybe that's a very specific name. But, you know, he gets the music going. And under the sea, a lot of water energy here, so there is a lot of depth here. A lot of depth. Somebody could be a painter. Someone could make jewelry. Somebody's pretty crafty, I feel. With the bottles here, somebody could like do like bottle their own essential oils, make their own perfumes, like a little apothecary. Somebody's, you know, makes their own remedies possibly out of herbs, flowers. The shells, and I'm getting like minerals. Somebody's there's somebody that's very health conscious. Where was I just going with that? I was going somewhere. The rose. I'm saying Hunger, Florence and the Machine, The Hunger. I was listening to Red Hot Chili Peppers, which is fire energy there. The color red is Capricorn, the root chakra, Saturn. So these are placements that you can look for. They could be confirmations for you. You could have these, you could have these placements. Maybe your Capricorn placement or your Saturn placement is at play here. You know, you could have gone through like a Saturn return. But I was listening to Red Hot Chili Peppers, Dark Necessities, right? So it's like we all have a hunger. We all have our things. We all have our like darker aspects. We all have our shadows. We all have that kind of stuff. 3606. 3606. Somebody could do something with the radio. On the radio. 10 of Pentacles. Let's pull some letters. Yeah, it's funny because we've got a frog, a crab, I mean Cancer. That was the most obvious one. I don't know why I didn't think of that. But they're all, there could be same sex with the masculines here, and then the two feminines here. But in the other ones, in the hetero ones, they're all with an animal. Tia's with the frog. Ariel's with Sebastian. And except for Ariel, these two, they turn into a man, right? Well, one's a man. They're all men, young prince men, who turn into an animal, and then they come out a man. They come out grown up. So it's their cycle of healing. That they go through. It's like their Saturn return. They're growing up, and alchemizing themselves into. This is the only one where Little Mermaid where they don't end up together. You know, he's like, when it reminds me of when she kisses him on the head, and he's like, you know, this Cancer. Could be an older masculine or like a mentor, a boss or something like that, because he's kind of like watches her. And this used to be my favorite because I wanted to freaking live in the ocean and be a mermaid and everything. I mean, who didn't? Who doesn't? I mean, I don't anymore. But that was a dream of mine. All right, collective, we just found out. Let's take a breath. Something about vibrations, healing through vibration. Feel it, feel it. It's such a good vibration. Maybe dancing, some kind of dance party. Om sounds very that peaceful, that lotus pose. Maybe lotus pose is going to be very healing for you. That Four of Swords, more Virgo energy of like being in the Hermit. NS, not suitable. SD. SD. I think that was a code for something with a friend. I can't remember what it was now. But yeah, you could have a code. You could be talking to a friend about this person and have some kind of code and call them something else, you know? So it's inconspicuous. Or if you're around this person. Yeah, STDs come... SD, not STD. I mean, there could be an STD involved here, but SD came out again. R-E. R-E and B-O. I was getting a B-O in reverse. I feel like somebody really loves the way that you smell. Because I'm getting the florals. Somebody could be like, oh my gosh, I'm just like a smelly beast. Somebody could work really hard and be a laborer, and they're like, oh, this feminine is so fair for me. They're too gentle. And maybe that's just a strange perspective, because these are all very passionate, fiery, individual feminines that are in these Disney cards. You know, they're all very sassy and powerful, and they are decisive, and they do what's right, and and all these masculines are looking at them like, So I feel like with the Ariel, the 4 here, there's like a mentor that's giving you a blessing. If you did lose a parent, particularly a father, maybe you'll have some sort of like uncle or someone from the masculine's family will become like a mentor to you, or something, to where they're going to walk you down the aisle or give their blessing. Or this could be a representation of an ancestor, a masculine ancestor, that's giving their blessing to this union. But it's like they're developing into a human. They're becoming a human. I think they could be like a bachelor for a long time, this masculine, or a bachelorette for a long time, where if they've been in that mode for an extended period of time, you get pretty comfortable in that. And when you have to start accommodating other people, even your twin flame, it is a challenge. All right, let's see. All right, so traits, we have more Capricorn energy with the Devil here. More color red, and that's a dark necessity. Somebody's kind of sneaky, but not in a, I get more a playful way. Somebody could be like a prankster. They're like a powerful, you could come from a line of jinns, you know what I mean? Lemurians, I mean, whatever you believe in. I feel like your beliefs go pretty deep and pretty obscure to the common collective, but this ain't the common collective, homie. The feminine here, yeah, more dark hair. I mean, she's wearing a red hat, and so is the bird. So I get Aries energy here with that bird. And then they could wear, see, it's like they're both wearing these robes. Something about a robe. Somebody could be, that's like Piscean energy to me, where it's like, and Taurus energy. So that is the High Priest and the High Priestess. There's a reason that I said that about the Magician and the High Priestess. Because maybe, yeah, the High Priestess, the feminine here, has dealt with a bunch of magicians. They want a Hierophant. That is earth energy, that is fixed earth energy, because it's Taurus. So they want earth. They are tired of chasing passion, or they're tired of being attracted to people for those things. They want a foundation. They want to settle down. This is a feminine that is, yeah, and see, she's out here like, this is a conqueror of beasts. This is a conqueror of beasts. So it gives me more Leo energy as well, with the strength, where the feminine in there is reaching into the mouth of the lion. They're taming the lion. We've talked about that, taming the beast. Beauty and the Beast, Belle and the Beast, something about a bell. Somebody's gonna ring your bell. Oh, and see, looking at this Justice, when I just said that, I don't know why it looks like it's really like fuzzy. So there's something about a vibration. Your body might actually vibrate. I mean, if you are around a celebration, or you're around music or something, you could, the ground could literally be shaking, you know. But this is also a feminine that has, I get that they're just, with this Libra energy and this earth energy here, this is very Empress, it's Libra, and then this sort of independent pentacle earth energy here of Taurus. So we are getting a lot of High Priest, High Priestess. I'm getting someone, a feminine who has done a lot of visualization techniques, and now they don't need to see something about the appearance here. I mean, somebody could have a visual impairment or something like that. Maybe they're like, you know, it's like they are relinquishing the control or the idea of the importance of what is here, what they can see. Like sight, I was just talking about this, sight is like a setback. Vision is kind of a setback to humanity. And I just watched The Scent of a Woman, and there it is, The Scent of a Woman. There's something about the scent of this feminine that is like, I mean, you guys could be into some tantric stuff where you're gonna like relinquish senses. There's a trust fall here where you feel like, I trust the balance, I trust divine timing, I just trust. And if you do have trouble with that, maybe that's a mantra or an affirmation that you can start implementing to bring this connection in. I trust. With the Ace of Blades, Ace of Swords, there's something about speaking a truth out that is going to make this union available to you. And it feels like once you say it, it's just that quick. It's once you put it out there, I'm done with that past energy. I'm done with that. I'm done with things that do not make me feel balanced. And when I try to get involved, when I try to run the show, things do not end up balanced. They do not end up in my favor. So I'm relinquishing control here. I'm trusting. That is the High Priestess. This is someone who sees with their third eye. They create with their third eye. That's Piscean energy. I create with my third eye. So it's the High Priest, High Priestess, and the Magician. Something about that trifecta, which is Taurus and Pisces energy. And then the Magician, we've got Taurus, Virgo, and Gemini again. And then we've got Leo here with strength. This brings strength. This masculine brings strength. I do feel like someone is very strong here, physically strong. And somebody's very emotionally strong. And there have been misconceptions, but it's like you can express yourself completely fully from whatever misconceptions have been made about you, whatever judgments have been put upon you. This is a very free love because it's stable, where most people might be like, oh, don't get married. To you, it's like you always maybe dreamed of being married, having a family, or building a home, or working with the community, right? Whatever you, traveling the world, maybe you always envisioned yourself traveling around with your person. It's like other people might be like, oh gosh, don't work with your partner because it's just a downhill, or it's an uphill battle and it never works out. You two are gonna be okay. You know, it's like you don't need anything more with the Disney movies. They lived happily ever after, right? The fairy tale, they lived happily ever after. And then you don't hear anything else, and people always, I want to see what happens afterward. The Mirror Has Two Faces, Barbra Streisand, when she's doing she's a professor and she's talking to the kids about romance and Shakespeare and these like love sonnets and poems and stories and all this stuff, and how it's like basically kind of bullshit. But it's also because she's deprived herself of the idea that that would ever happen to her. And then she gets into this very constructed, platonic dynamic and answers an ad, right? So you might meet online, or somehow you might meet through like a blind date, right? With the blinds here, you might meet on a blind date. Either way, I feel like it's going to be sort of unexpected. This person is going to be unexpected. This is not the person you expected it. Like right now, you might have a handful of people in your mind that you're like, it could be this person, this person, this person. I don't even know if if your person is on your mind or in your mind, because they don't look how you thought they might look, or your relationship dynamic doesn't look like you thought it would look. So it could be very unorthodox, very taboo, or something about it just doesn't, to other people, they're like, oh, don't do that, or oh, that could be trouble. What will people think? And I just feel like, who cares what people think? The 7, another 7, the horse thief. Seven of Wands. This is somebody also traveling, because it looks like the 8 of Wands. You know, it's somebody moving away, and it doesn't quite look like the 7 of Wands, which is usually somebody running or fighting or whatever. This is like somebody just picking up what is theirs, you know. On this feminine, this feminine is like a wild horse. Susan Boyle. Well, it's my favorite Rolling Stones song, but Wild Horses. Wild horses couldn't drag me away. Like, nothing is going to take this person away from you. This is a loyalty. They're loyal to the connection, and that's how you can truly be loyal to someone or something, or to yourself, is to release yourself and everyone involved from being tied down. There's a freedom here. There's such a freedom here where it's like, it is unconditional, because it's a daily choice. So yeah, maybe you wanted to always like end up with your person, and you know, the only way that you thought that could happen is if you got married and had kids and had a white picket fence or whatever. Like, there was some sort of construct about your idea of how this dream could come true. Like, if you wanted to travel around, maybe you thought you had to make a lot of money or something, and it's like, this person's coming in to show you a new way. This love is here to show you the true way to your dreams. But you have to believe in them. You have to believe. Not Anne of Green Gables. I love that movie, or those movies. Jane Eyre. Jane, you have to believe. You have to believe. And there's an ancestor here. There's someone that you have lost in the 3D that is rooting for you. And they're kind of pulling strings, and they're sort of orchestrating it. So that could be that sense of like a blind date. If you don't meet this person on a blind date per se, it could be sort of so serendipitous and so strange that you come together, and it's kind of like your angels are up there winking. The movie Heart and Souls with Robert Downey Jr., my favorite. Oh my gosh, I had such a crush on him in that. And yeah, he's kind of like, you know, he inhabits these different ghosts or whatever, but they're kind of like guardian angels, really. They inhabit him, I guess, and you know, work through unfinished business. But they're sort of connected to him or appointed to him. He is appointed to them for this purpose, or whatever, however you want to look at it. They are linked for this purpose, to heal, to fix, to, we have Temperance, an angel has fallen. Ooh, and the Lovers. Red-winged angels. Red Bull gives you wings, more Taurus energy. We got Temperance with Sagittarius and Lovers with Gemini. Yeah. So, like I said, these angels, I'm putting the cards away, and these jumped out over the edge there, which is City of Angels, Capricorn energy, the name Nicholas, Cage, or Gage, maybe. That's like a real country name. A lot of girls and stuff were young ladies were having kids, and that was a big, like, name. Gage or Dalton or something like that, you know. Somebody could really be into baseball, Field of Dreams. I feel like there's a paternal or a masculine ancestor here. Somebody that was a mentor, right? Like a coach or a teacher or somebody that passed away, and they are rooting for you on the other side. We also have the Magician's Triangle, the Two of Cups here with the Temperance, Sagittarius, the Crown for the King, Leo energy. This is the whole kit and caboodle. Like, this is going to be going back and forth. This is the movie Monroy. It's a French film, and his name is, I always do this. Castle, Vincent Cassel or Castle. It's spelled Castle, but I think you pronounce it Cassel or something. So somebody could have like a strange pronunciation to their name. All of these figures here are fair featured. This one has kind of fiery hair. It looks like Heat Miser. I am Mr. Heat Miser. So more fire energy there. I'm Mr. Sun, Leo energy. Leo and the Sun represent the divine masculine of the twin flame. The Moon, Cancer, Pisces, represents the feminine. And the High Priestess works with the Moon, and the Hierophant works with more the masculine side of things, because they instruct. They are the spiritual guide, where the High Priestess is more internal. Somebody is more introverted, somebody's more internal, somebody's more external. So yeah, somebody has a lot of inner strength, somebody has a lot of maybe overt actual physical strength. The number 2 is poking out there. It's poking out there. And we'll pull from the energy centers. Third eye. Called educating, and this is page 155. Educating your vision, Mark said. What are stereotypes? Well, people will look at someone and say, this person looks like my Aunt Mamie. And my Aunt Mamie thinks this way, and therefore this person must think that way. See, there's that misconceptions, labels, blowing those things out of the water, breaking through the convention, breaking with convention, breaking out of constructs. It's like you're reconstructing the idea of love, the concept of love, what types of people and what types of things classify as being a marriage or being a union. You're breaking all of these things, these stereotypes down. Like, oh, you're a big burly person. Oh, you have a lot of tattoos, so you must be, a bad boy or a bad girl, or you've got like crazy hair or something, so you must be crazy, or whatever. Or back to being blind or having some sort of physical, I don't want to say what is perceived as being like a physical setback. And you're, maybe you wanted to be, a pilot, but you didn't have good vision, so you couldn't be a pilot. Or you had some sort of, you wanted to be a singer, and then you had some sort of like chronic laryngitis, or you had some sort of setback that seemed like it was not allowing you to reach your dream goal, or it sort of seemed like a dead end versus a detour, right? It was a detour on your divine path because you had to come to the conclusion yourself that the dream that you had fabricated was actually limited. Maybe you were like, oh, I want to be, a superstar, or I want to be Evel Knievel or something, and you wanted to do something, and it was for maybe ego. It would have been more self-sustaining or self-invigorating, for lack of better words. But you're actually going to be like a search and rescue helicopter pilot or something like that. That's very specific, but take it how it applies to your situation. There's something that you wanted to do as a child, and then it seemed like, oh, that I'll never get there. And I think it was specifically it stopped you from dreaming in love life as well. It's like what kind of romance you could even get to or receive or would be eligible for. Something about eligibility. So those are kind of strange messages, kind of randomized messages. I found this rock fell down, but it's so cool. I don't know if you can even see it. I found so many dime a dozen rocks, and I just find every single one of them to be fascinating. But I'm still in search of the perfect rock that I had in a dream. And anyway, so something with penguins possibly, receiving a rock. You know, you might be getting engaged. Again, there could be engagement here. Maybe nobody thought that you would ever get married or settle down or whatever, because you were like the wild child. But what you really want at your core is pentacles. You want 10 of pentacles. You want longevity. You want to grow old with somebody. You want that. And in whatever way you want it, it is completely unique to you. And even if maybe you resisted convention, maybe you were such a rebel that you were like, anything that looked like it was conventional or traditional, you broke out of that and you were like, I don't want to do any of that. And you might discover that you're coming back to your truth, which is, and that breakaway, there's something about, it's like a slingshot or a boomerang. It's like it goes out and it's got to come back, not a slingshot, because that just goes one way. But it's like this detour it's a divine detour. All detours are divine, right? The detours are created by the lower frequencies, right? It's devil energy, it's demonic interference, they're demonic detours, but they always end up leading you back to, so all that fear, all the low self-worth, the behaviors, anything that you did as forms of self-sabotage or self-harm or whatever, it was all part of this divine detour that put you on your actual path. You're going to be receiving everything that you always asked for, you always wanted, but I think it's going to look different than you ever expected. And releasing the idea of what it looks like and just embracing, or maybe sitting, and meditating and sitting in the feeling of it. It's more important that it's going to feel right. Doesn't matter what they look like, doesn't matter what they sound like, doesn't matter what they do for hobbies or whatever. It doesn't matter what their sign is. Maybe you were really stuck on their sign or something, because I just watched another one with Robert Downey Jr., which is Only You with Marissa Tomei. And they she gets this name from a Ouija board and a fortune teller, Damien Bradley. So maybe the name's Damien or Damon Bradley, anything like that. Could be important here, but she's stuck on finding this guy. I mean, she goes in her wedding dress to find him, like she's about to get married in 10 days. 10 is a number of endings. It's like ending the cycle with this karmic thing, and there's no love or anything with that guy. Not that I'm condoning, separating or jumping from one relationship to another, or needing one to excuse you to get out of that, because no, you need to just make that choice to get out of it. Choose yourself. Always choose yourself. But anyway, and there's the whole thing, I won't spoil anything, but she's surprised. Also, under the Tuscan sun, she asks for things, and then it takes a male mentor, a very kind older gentleman that she meets there, Signor Martini. Maybe somebody's going to ask you out for martinis. Something about olives. The name Olive, I love. It's an anagram. also like Greek food or something, but or Italian food. You know, Signor Martini, he says, you know, you got everything that you asked for. And she did. She got everything that she asked for. But so there's something about what you put out there and realizing that it's actually boomeranging back to you. You put something out there, maybe something with Australia. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff in there. I think I'm going to start doing a few shorter messages over the next few days. So I'll do like a short masculine, feminine, and then maybe like a 10-minute or so check-in for both of you for the connection. So mix it up a little bit. I just think that a lot of people are like, I feel like the collective's kind of right on the right track here, and the messages are kind of getting redundant. And so maybe we just need a little quick check-in for, like, make sure things are still on track, you know, just a quick check-in. Anyway, so I think I'm going to start doing those. Yeah, comment if you want the sign-by-sign readings, or if you guys you prefer the collective readings, the general collective readings, whichever ones you find resonate more for you. And then I'll consider doing those, just because there's only a handful of signs that really watch theirs consistently enough to make it worth all of the energy that it takes to do the readings sign by sign. Because when I tap into the signs, it's a little bit more specific, and then I inherit a lot more energy. Anyway, it's a whole process, and I won't bore you with that. Thank you for being here, collective. I really hope there was something in here for you, and until next time, I wish you well.